guys, happy Saturday. Hi Molly, hi Rob, I see you, hi Gina. Okay, perfect. I had my earbud in because I wanted to make sure that volume was good, and it looks like we are good to go. Hi Resin, good to see everybody. I'm feeling so much better. I do have my tea here. I am ready to go. I'm excited about today's topic too, about creating energy and kind of some of the things that I have noticed about myself over this last week, things that I think I need to change and tweak up just a little bit. So today's going to be a fun day, I think. And then, of course, we are going to hop over into our planner and get our planners set up for the week ahead. Now, whatever that looks like for you, and I have said this before and I'll say it again, there are so many different ways that you can plan out your week. Now, what I have been doing is I have been setting up my planner, writing in the dates, writing in the things that I know, like where I need to be and what I need to be doing. If I know that ahead of time, I will plug all of that in. And then each morning I've been coming in and filling in what's going to happen throughout that day. There are a lot of things that I'm kind of juggling right now. We'll talk about that too. Just because, and I don't want to say I felt overwhelmed, a little bit of overwhelm, but all things that can be fixed and all things that I did to myself, basically. So today we're going to get into it, and what I want to start with is creating energy. Because the truth is, and especially this last week, hi Christopher, hi Jimmy. This last week, I've been a little bit under the weather, and this persistent coughing is just ridiculous. And yes, I have taken the test a couple of times, and I am fine. It's just this nagging cough that if you cough a lot, gives you a headache and then you're just not feeling it. But also know that even though I wasn't feeling great, I know that your mindset is directly correlated to your energy. Your energy levels are something that you absolutely can control, especially if you feel like you're kind of spiraling or going down this mental rabbit hole of, oh, I don't feel good. This is so unfair. Like, I'm too busy to be sick. I don't have time for this. If you kind of flip that a little bit and just accept that this is where you're at right now and what can you do to fix that. And I'm going to give you some tips of things that I definitely implement to kind of help those energy levels. Because when you start to feel that burnout, I'm telling you, it is a state of mind. And maybe it's not like what you're doing, but it's how you're doing it, how you're approaching it, how you're feeling about whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. So when you start to feel that burnout, at least for me, I am very much like, okay, what is exactly going on here? And sometimes you have to take that step back, right? Because when you're in the thick of it and you've got all these balls that you're juggling and you don't really see what your priorities are, what is most important. You don't really see the big picture when you're in the thick of it. So my suggestion always is if you start to feel that overwhelm or burnout, you step back and kind of reassess your situation, which is exactly what I have done over this last week. And I realized that, I was kind of feeling like there are so many things. Hi, Susanna. I see you in there. There are so many things that I have going on right now. And I have so many things that are half done. And that mentally for me is exhausting. And so I just made a note. I have notes here, but I made a note of all of just like the different projects, and it's just a simple little sticky note. And I was like, okay, what is it that is stressing me out? Like, what is it that is making me feel like I'm kind of drowning in all the things that have to be done. And if you're a small business owner, and not even a small business owner, if you just have a lot going on in your life, there are going to be times when you are in hustle mode and you just kind of feel like the walls are kind of closing in, time is passing, but you aren't progressing. And I felt that very much this last week, because the week before I was sick and I didn't get anything done. Like, there was no progression in anything. And I feel like I kind of lost a week. But sometimes it's a good thing that that happens, because you can take your step back and realize, like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to readdress this and I need to come at it at a different way. And the beautiful thing about what happened last week was I had a project that was supposed to be done. I had scheduled that deadline and it just wasn't feeling right. It wasn't coming together. So because I didn't have the energy to finish it last week because I was sick, I took that step back. And when I came back to it earlier this week, or towards the end of last week, it just was like this big, huge aha moment of, oh my gosh, this is the way that this is supposed to look. And it's just been smooth sailing with this one project, because I completely changed the dynamic of it. And I would not have thought that had I kept pushing through. So sometimes the universe works in your favor and says you have to slow down, and makes you slow down so that you can kind of step back and see that big picture and see things in a little bit of a different way. So, you know, right now I have, like I said, so many half-done projects. So we have what's on my list most importantly, and all things that I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to kind of address being able to have the energy, creating energy to be able to complete each of these projects. But I have an email process that I want to get done. I have a monthly calendar template that I need to finish. I need to figure out my packaging, the packing materials, things like that for when we launch the clip folios. I want to have a video series done when we launch that. It's going to be, so the idea is just to have a cool little, oh my gosh, what are those things called when you scan it? Anyways, you'll scan something and it's going to pull up a video series on the different ways to complete this, ideas, like short mini little training series on it, just like a couple minutes, but giving ideas of how to do this. So that was an idea that I had. So that's another thing that just kind of goes on the to-do list, right? The downloadables. I have so many ideas of what kinds of different downloadables, habit trackers, task sheets, different forms of a daily to-do list. I have a bazillion ideas of downloadables, just don't have time to do it. My blogging system, right? General content creation. We talked about a podcast last week, and I've got so many amazing just messages and feedback from you guys too about how that can progress and how a podcast would kind of fit into all the things. So I have all of these half things, like we have the email process. I have collected the email addresses, but now what? Like, now what do you do with them? How do I get to them? How do I do a mass email? That's something that I need to learn, and then I need to implement. Same thing with the monthly calendar. My template is done, but I need to finish it. I need to figure out, how do I get this to the printer? What printer am I going to use? Packaging and mailers, like what can I afford to ship all of this in? Do I just use USPS? Can I get craft mailer boxes that are just gonna cost a couple bucks and then we'll put a sticker on it? Like, I need to figure all of that stuff out. Downloadables. Like I said, I have all the ideas. I just need to make the time to create them. The blogging system, it's done, it's created, but now I need to make the time to create the blogs, the podcasts. That's a whole other thing, right? I know nothing about how to create that, what that means exactly. So there are learning curves to everything. So if you're somebody who is learning something new, or you're embarking on like this new adventure of trying to create a business from scratch by yourself without the help of like another actual physical person, you're going to need to figure out a way. I needed to figure out a way to make this all happen. And being able to take that step back, and what I have really focused on this week is, what do I need to do? What is the biggest priority? And let's create a game plan for how we're going to make that happen. So there are lots of things I want to do, just as I'm sure there are lots of things that you want to do. And you have to create and you have to make time for those things. So what I've decided is I'm going to take one thing each week. So instead of having all of these half-done things, I'm going to tackle one at a time and one each week. And obviously, if I figure it out earlier in the week and I don't use all the days and I feel a little caught up ahead, then I can add in the next thing. But what I'm doing is, and I'm calling it, so I very much love, I love the concept of like having a saying to go with something, right? I like having my weekly planner. I call it the game plan. I personally like having those things. So I'm calling it the double D's. I'm going to have each week a development day and a due day. The due day is not D-U-E like it's due. It's due, D-O, day, a due day. So the development day is the day that I take to learn. How do I want to figure out how to do like the email process? Go into the provider. How do I grab my emails? How do I create the newsletter? And that is what I'm going to learn on that development day. Let's just call it a Monday. And then on Tuesday, once I have learned and kind of absorbed that information, the next day is going to be, now how do I do it? What do I need to do? And breaking it up like that, it helps me to create the right energy I need for each of those days. And I'm focusing on one thing. I'm not thinking, okay, so I'm going to do this email situation, but oh my gosh, I also need to figure out how to do the blogging and I need to talk about the mailers. Like those are all things that I'm going to create a week on which I will tackle that. And that helps me to stay focused in that one area and learn it and implement it, create the system. Now, I very much am like, I want to do all the things and I want to do all the things right now. But I'm also very much a systems person. I need a process because I know that having templates and processes, that's going to make everything so much easier down the road. So all of that stuff takes time. So I know that even though I want to do it all, and here's the thing, you can do it all. You just can't do it all at one time. And that was something I needed to remind myself. If you've been around a while, if you're somebody who has been on my coaching team, I say it all the time. You can do everything, but you can't do everything at once. And I had to remind myself of that because I have all of these things and I have this pressure of all this time. Like time is just ticking away, and I will then get into that mindset of, oh my gosh, I've wasted so much time. I wish I would have done this 10 years ago. But you can't really think like that, or else your energy is going to be zapped like that. So I am going to start the process of the double D's starting on Monday. And I am just going to have a development day, and then I'm going to have a due day. And that's just how I'm going to attack everything. And each of the tasks that I want to get done, it's going to take me a little bit longer, but the foundation will be there. So I know that in the future, I can ask for help and know what I'm talking about. The other thing is, so my sister was like, what can I do to help? Like, what do you need me to do? What do you need me to learn? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I need to be more organized in what I'm doing, because eventually I hope to have help, right? With the thinking and the learning and all of the things, so that I can just create the content and be okay with it. So that's kind of, if you have someone, and I see Resin, you say, you've got a lot of projects on your board too. Yeah, and they just pile up. Like, if you don't knock things off, then you're just adding and adding and adding, because there are 5 bazillion things that you can do. There are 5 different or 50 bazillion platforms that you can be on. And it's exhausting. It's also exhausting to learn. We just had the launch of Threads, and a girlfriend, she messaged me and she's like, oh, are you doing Threads? And I was like, what is Threads? Like, what is that? So those are all things that you definitely, you can't do everything all at one time. And you will instantly, I promise you, instantly, when you do your brain dump and you figure out all the things that you need to get done, and you create a game plan that makes sense, where your energy level can be where it needs to be to get that one thing done. And then you can then check off that one big thing that's been on your to-do list, that's been in the back of your mind over and over and over again, right? It just keeps like podcast, blog, content, all the things, and it's draining of energy. So when you create the game plan around how you're going to tackle each thing, it absolutely helps. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you can do to create energy that makes you feel good. And this is something that is definitely going to change for whatever season in life you're in, whatever you're feeling in that moment, whatever your stresses are. Find things that make you feel good. Music is definitely one of the biggest mood boosts. Create playlists. If you have Spotify, I love Spotify, and you can create playlists based on what you need in a moment. Create a uplifting, happy, loud music that can uplift your mood. But if you're somebody who likes mellow, calming music, soft rock type music, then create a playlist for that. If you're somebody who likes techno during hard workouts, create a playlist for that. So you have something to fall back on. So maybe it's going to take you 30 minutes on a day to go through and find music, feel good music from your childhood. Like, you can go in, and for me, I go in and I'm like 70s and 80s. What's the music there? And put things in there, right? But that isn't something that I will always fall back on. It just depends on what my mood is. But I know that I have certain things that will absolutely help me with feeling better, having more energy. And for me, uplifting music absolutely does that. Slow, depending on the day, again, depending on the mood, I very rarely listen to slow music. Very rarely. I like fast, upbeat music. It makes me feel happy. I do not watch sad movies because I feel it hard, and I feel it for a long time. I always will steer away from scary movies and movies that don't have a happy ending. I always go back to the Christmas that we watched, Southpaw. It ruined Christmas for me, and it ruined like the next several days. Hated it, absolutely hated it. And I don't like movies that don't end in a happy ending. I can't with it. Inspiring videos or podcasts, like those are also things I posted on my Instagram stories this week, that I love Bethany Frankel. I love her YouTube videos. I love her reels, her Instagram. She's hilarious. But I was listening to her podcast. It's Rants with Brittany or something like that, or Rants with Bethany, something like that. But she rants about certain topics. I did not like it at all. I love everything else she does, but I don't like the negative connotation of the ranting side. So I now know I can watch her other things and listen to her other things, but that is not something that I will probably ever tune into again. And even the way that somebody interviews someone like that, you will know instantly what your vibe is, and you will know instantly whether or not somebody is making you feel better, making you feel worse about yourself, or is it uplifting? Like, or is this making you feel good? Is it inspiring and motivating? Find those people and hold on to that really hard, and make a list if you need to, so that you have that thing to fall back on. So inspiring videos, podcasts, motivating books, actually read physical books or listen to audio books. Documentaries are one of my favorite things to watch, because I love watching other people who are hard workers, who are productive. They show up every single day. They might have nothing in common with me. They might be doing something that I will never do, but I love watching the way they attack things, how productive they are. What is their routine? What are their systems? I just watched this last week, Quarterback on Netflix, and they follow 3 NFL quarterbacks and just kind of their process and their lives. And obviously I have nothing in common with an NFL quarterback, but I loved it, and it was motivating to me. Just, I love seeing people be successful, work hard to find that success. Like, that to me, just, it feels so good to me. Also, so another one of the last things that I'll talk about when it comes to creating energy, because we're going on 23 minutes. My environment plays a huge role in how I feel, how my energy levels are. And it may seem for some people that it would be ridiculous to try to work from your bed. I love working in my bedroom. I love the vibe of my bedroom, especially in the summertime. We had somebody come over and he looked at our bedroom, and when he came in, he was like, "Did I just step into a resort?" And I was like, "Oh, that's exactly what I feel too." Like, that is what I feel like when I walk into my bedroom. And there's something to be said about doing something on your own and creating a design and falling in love with it, and then having other people love it too. It's just the best feeling. But I love sitting in my bed and having my laptop propped up, having my planner next to me. Like, that just, I love that feeling. I'll have something on the TV. Usually it is a vlogger, just because I love watching other people do things that I'm doing. I love watching other people work. Like, I don't know why. I keep telling my son, like, you need to wear, cause he works for a fireplace company, but he's the one who climbs on the roofs and hauls these big heavy things up to slide down the chimney. And like, he does all these things. He calls himself, he said that he is a cross between, what did he say? Santa Claus and Batman. I thought it was so funny because, he's in these small little spaces, but I'm like, you need to wear one of those cameras and just record it and just vlog it. So many people would watch that. Another thing I love watching, again, so crazy, weird, I know, baristas. Like, I love going through a day with a barista, and all she's doing is making coffee. There's a girl who is in Australia, and that's what she does. She puts her camera up and she is making coffee all day, like hours. And I'll put that on and it'll be on in the background. Same with other people packing orders. Like, I love watching stuff like that. So many times, Rob will look down, because another place I love to work is my living room. That's more like fall time, because I love having that coziness of the fireplace. Christmas time, I can feel the tree. I sit at my dining room table. So environment plays a huge role for me too. But sometimes I'll be in the living room and I'll be watching somebody packing orders. It's like completely silent, but she's packing orders and talking to the people around her, or a barista. She's just making a whole bunch of coffees. Love it. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just love to do this. It's me." So environment could be something definitely that you want to consider. What makes you feel good in the space? Let's see. Me too. No scary movies. Yes. Not so much anymore regarding scary movies. Yeah. Aw, thanks, Resin. History Channel. Yes. Kings and Queens and Lives of Princesses. I know. I love it. I absolutely love documentaries for sure. I will say, I think my bedroom is gorgeous too. I love it. Love. Thanks, Gina. Yeah, a GoPro. That's what it is. Yes. Yeah, Batman and Santa. This kid would be so cool. I cannot wait for Christmas. I'm already thinking about it. So yesterday, and just kind of like looking at the big picture, because that's another thing, right? I have like 8 to 9 like things that I really need to buckle down and figure out. And I was just thinking, looking at the calendar, because it kind of brings me into October. What the heck? And I was thinking, am I going to do Vlogmas this year? And do I want to do Vlogmas this year? And then I got to thinking, I was so on point and am so on point during Vlogmas, because it's one video every single day. So it's filming the day and then editing it the next morning, filming that day, editing the next morning, posting. Like, you're on it all the time. And I was so on it. And it's the busiest time of year. And there's just something so fulfilling about Vlogmas for me. But it also, I get so much done. And that was another thing I was considering. Like, why am I having such a hard time with finishing something, right? Like, if I could do Vlogmas and film all day, edit for 4 to 6 hours, film the next day, get up and do it all over again, why can't I find time to do these things? And it's because the focus is different. It's not where it needs to be, and I'm focusing on way too many things. That changes now. And the tea reviews. Yes. So I'm not going to do tea this year. That was the other thing I was thinking about too. I was like, if I do Vlogmas, what am I going to do? And I don't want to do tea this year. I think I want to do hot chocolate. But chocolate gives me a headache. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if I can do that either. Then I thought, decaf coffee? I don't know. I need to find an advent calendar, and we'll just have to see. Maybe, okay, I'm thinking chocolates. I think I'm going to try and find a Christmas holiday advent calendar with chocolates. I think that's what we'll do. But yes, the tea, yeah, because you get so tired of tea. Yeah, Molly, I was thinking, but chocolate, too much chocolate for me gives me a headache. I think it's the caffeine in it. I don't know. Just like regular coffee gives me a headache. It needs to be decaf. Yeah, chocolate, everything. So I have to think about it. We'll see. It would totally be worth it. like have a chocolate, Rob's gonna roll. If Rob, yeah, he's still in here. He's gonna roll his eyes. But if I do like a chocolate and then pop an Advil. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that, but it would, kind of. Okay, last thing really quick. And this is what to avoid. I got to get through my list. This is sidetracking me. We're totally not supposed to be talking about Vlogmas. That chocolate cake from Tulsa. I didn't have that chocolate cake. I was really good. Cookies! Cookies! Recipes. See? So many things, you guys. So many things. Okay, things to avoid. So for me, the truth is I try very hard to avoid low energy people. I call it the Eeyore syndrome, right? Just very pessimistic, always complaining. This hurts, that hurts, but they're doing nothing to make it better. I will listen to complaining all day long if it is wrapped in a solution. I will listen to anybody's complaining. What is the problem? What are the ailments? And then we have to talk about what can we do to make it better, which for some people that's super annoying about me because a lot of people just want to complain. I don't like that. I would prefer very much to help you solve your problem. So if you're coming at me with just a complaining attitude and you don't want to solve the problem or try to help make things better, I want nothing to do with it. So pessimistic, the Eeyore syndrome, listen, I try to avoid that as much as I can, but I do also realize that a lot of people, you can't control that. Like it might be somebody who lives with you. It might be, somebody you work with and they're right next to you. So in those instances where you just can't help who you're with or who you're spending time with, then you need to quadruply infuse positivity in your life. So a lot of the things that I just suggested for creating positive energy, a lot of that stuff, you're going to need more of that to kind of balance out the negative side of things. Another thing I try to avoid is mindlessly scrolling through social media. Oh my goodness gracious. That is something that can zap energy in 2.5 seconds. So catch yourself before you go down that negative rabbit hole. Be intentional about what you look at. So I am very intentional about what I look at in social media. In fact, I never scroll through my newsfeed. Not ever. So what I do is I'll go in and there's a little button down at the bottom that it's a little magnifying glass. That is your search button. If you go to your search button and you hit the search up here, it's going to bring up all of the most current people that you have searched right here. That is actually how I go in and I keep up with the people who make me feel inspired. I can just go right down this list right here and know that this is the kind of energy that I want. You can also, on top of creating your music playlist, you can also create bookmarks in your Instagram, and you can have a bookmark and you just save a picture from that account, and then you can always just tap on that picture, get right to their account, and you know that that's going to be a place of positivity. But that's how I do it. I never scroll through the news feed. For me, I don't. Even family might be a no-go. But again, I don't scroll through the news feed, so unless I'm specifically searching for certain people, I like to choose who I want to see. and I use that little search box. And here's the other thing. When you search for specific people or specific accounts, that is how the Instagram algorithm is going to curate your news feed. So if you do find yourself scrolling, because sometimes, you know what, you're like, what's going on in the world? It's going to curate your news feed based on the topics and subject of the people that you have searched and followed. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so those are my tips on creating energy and creating a system to have energy that you need to complete projects that you need to complete. I hope that helps. Hi, Gringo. Thanks, Gina. I have not made cookies. We are on what day am I on? Of 75 hard. We are coming down to the wire here. I think I have exactly 13 days left. Today is day 62. I'm so ready for it to be done. Like, I'm completely ready for sure. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get to planning our week ahead. I don't know about you guys, but this week for me, I'm excited for it because I feel better. I'm able to drink less of my tea, and I definitely am feeling much more energetic. So, yeah. Okay, yes, 2 more weeks. Ready for it to be done. And mostly for the scheduling side of things, getting a workout earlier in the day, it has to be done. I don't like waiting until the afternoon. It's like one of the biggest things schedule-wise for me that will be so helpful. But okay, let's go ahead. Does anybody, if you have any questions, comments, anything, go ahead and put them in the chat. I will be in and out of it. I'm going to go ahead and plan for my week ahead. So you guys know the drill. What I like to do is I'm going to go in and look at my calendar, see what we have coming up. I'm going to fill out my calendar, which is everything that, like the dates up here. I still am loving the time blocking. If you don't like time blocking, you don't have to do that. You can definitely just write in whatever your schedule is, put the time up by the side, but you don't have to hourly time block like I do. Or you can time block in 30-minute increments, whatever helps you to do that, whatever is going to help you to stay on track. And then I will go in and kind of plug in the things that I know I'm going to have to do. I'm also going to come in and we'll do my habit tracker down here. I will tell you that I am very proud of my habit tracker this week. I have done so many things, but I wish I had done more in the social medias, like getting my posts up, things like that. We'll be better at that next week. So this is, again, your scorecard is something that is so very important to keep track of what's important, what needs to get done, and then you can look and see if you got it done or not. So this is kind of where your priorities are, your daily things are. So, okay, let's go ahead and put some music on and let's get to it.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.
Yeah, I like the time blocking too. I don't time block on the weekends because I don't need to, but during the week, time blocking definitely. Oh, I feel so much better, Gina.
Searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind. I will keep on holding my head high.
Okay, all right.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing,
Readers.
but we get up and start from the ground.
Thank you, Gina, for posting that. You guys are awesome, and I forget to thank the mods too, and I do appreciate you guys very much for posting the links and stuff. Thank you. And then for everybody for being here, appreciate you guys too.
Searching for my highs.
No, not these glasses.
You can say I lost my mind. I
I
will
need to
keep
clean these now.
my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down. The sky is falling down.
All right, let's see. All right, it's 11:42. We go 15 minutes. All right. So we have 17, 8, 19, 20.
You said that you needed me. Like a cargo, you will carry me. I just hope you know my depth. Even though it makes no sense. Sometimes I'm broken, too much of emotion. Sometimes I'm the light, don't wanna pick a fight with it.
All right, have just one thing this week. I have a big comprehensive medical exam. That's on Monday. But other than that, that's about it. Yay. I used last week. This works for me, so I'm just going to copy all of this over. And my morning routine, I'm going to copy that over too.
I said that I needed you. Like a late night, someone that I knew. I just hope you won't get hurt. I just hope you've been through worse. Sometimes I'm broken, too much of emotion. Sometimes I'm the light, don't wanna pick a fight when everything seems so good. I guess I can't help myself. Would you hold me from in the dark? I'm calling 'cause I'm right under the stars.
Thanks, Gina. Oh, this is it. Oh yeah, you can see what it is. Yeah, fresh. I love it. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorites. I also like this one. It's bereallyhappy.com. This is the ginger and bergamot. Oh, love. It's a good one too. Okay. Wow.
Too much of emotion. Sometimes I'm the light, don't wanna pick a fight when everything seems so good. I guess I can't help myself. Would you call me from in the dark?
Wait. No, this has to be different. Up and walk. Up and walk. Ready in post office. Now, if I can, I'll do my first wave, etc. Okay. So this day will be a little bit different, but we'll figure that out. I won't work a lot on Monday because it's a pretty intense day, and I'll bring my laptop, I'll bring my reading books, things like that, but not a lot's gonna get done on Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, okay. And then I am loving my morning routine. And then I'm gonna leave my days because what I do the day before is gonna dictate what I do the next day. So each morning or at night before I go to bed, I'll fill out what I want the next day to look like. Thank you. Yes, early detection is everything. That is one of the things that we get done too. It's kind of like a whole year's worth of medical exams in one day, like one fell swoop. We just do it all, knock everything out. Hi, Michael Smith. Working and lurking. All right. So now I'm gonna go through my my scorecard here. These are the tasks that I like to get done every day, and then I will keep track of how much I get done, just so I know I can stay on top of the priority things. And here I'm just splitting up the boxes into 2 sections, just because I do my first wave, which is going in and checking all the things, and then I just scribble it out like I've done here. Like this half the box is scribbled in. Kind of see it from here, like this. And then when I come back in later and I get my second workout done, I'll fill in the second half of that box. I have a lot to get done in my one day. So instead of having a separate line for each of the things, if it's a like thing, like my workouts are on one line, but it's 2 workouts, I split the box up so that I know that I got them both done. Same thing with, I check my YouTube studio, I check my Studio Fit Club. This is checking my accounts and orders, the website and Etsy. So that's why I check those. I split the box into 2. I hope that makes sense. All right, and those are all singles. And then don't forget your goals. Goals are always good to have in the forefront. This might be something that changes throughout your months as you go on. Your goals might change a little bit. Mine have. We tweak them up just a little to make things make sense. A lot of times you also accomplish some of your goals, so you're going to replace it with something else, right? Planner system launch is definitely my yearly goal.
The stars come to shine when it's dark. From so far away, show us where we are. What makes the sun go to sleep every night? What's it dreaming of? I wonder.
What is that goal going to be this week? Which one of these do I want to focus on? I feel like I want to focus on downloadables this week.
Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights.
Email process and downloadables.
Why does the rain always keep on pouring down when it's gray outside?
All right. Feels so good when this is done and ready to go. Hopefully you guys have been able to go in and get some of your stuff done too. Hi 949. Good to see you. Hi Penny Finder. Oh, yay Molly. I'm glad you liked our topic today. It's where I've been living for the last couple of days, the last couple weeks really, to be honest. So I'm glad it's helped you too. So here's the other thing that I was very much kind of trying to get ahead of content in social media. And I don't know, it just feels so much more organic when I'm talking about the things that I'm kind of going through and the things that make sense for me in that moment, what feels good. Because planning too far ahead also doesn't really feel as organic, which is another reason why I have started to kind of keep this section clear and plan out my day each morning, each day, or at night before I go to bed when I know what I'm going to need to get done. It makes more sense for me when I get into my flow and my rhythm and I'm not working on systems and setting up a process. Then I'm going to be able to come in and say, okay, I know on this day I do all the editing, all the filming, all this, all that. That will be a lot easier for me to do when I have that process set. But that's not it. That's not the chapter that I'm in right now. Right now I'm in the chapter of figuring out what needs to be done and then making time to get it done. All right, guys, I am going to leave you here. We are just under an hour. Thank you so much for joining me today. I absolutely appreciate every single one of you for coming in here and spending this time with me. It definitely helps keep me accountable to get this done for sure. And now I feel good. I can sit back and edit from my bed for the rest of the day. I do have a video coming out soon, probably in the next day or two, just a vlog. But I'm going to have time to get that done today. Oh, 15 minutes is up. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I love our Saturdays together, too. Love, love. All right, guys. Thank you. And thanks again, mods, for your help. We'll see you next week. Bye.